Hi, my name's Dr. Marc Reynolds. You can call me Mark. I have a doctorate in opera stage directing and have been teaching voice to both classical and commercial singers for over a decade. Today I'm going to be reacting to Hua Chenyu performing Fake Monk. Comment down below with what you like best about this performance. I look forward to hearing what you have to say. Here we go.
假如你看我有点累，就请你给我倒碗水。假如你已经爱上我，就请你吻我的嘴。我有着双脚，我有着双腿，我有着千山和万水，我要着所有的所有，但不要很后悔。想爱上我，你就别怕后悔。总有一天，我要远走高飞。我不想留在一个地方，也不愿有人跟随。有人跟随。 知道我是谁。
It kind of takes a moment to process that one and think about it. So many different things going on, and really a moving performance. That's pretty intense. Obviously, he had the audience just on the edge of their seat and totally in thrall of what was going on in the kind of disturbed atmosphere that he created. Success there. One of the things I love about what I was watching there is that he was not concerned with, was he doing things perfectly? Was he doing them right? Meaning, is he conforming to the normal expectations and standards of what's expected of someone at the keyboard or someone to sing or whatever? He's trying to push the limits. He's trying to use the voice in unique new ways and thinking of the voice as an instrument. He's not just sitting behind the keyboard and trying to play in a technically perfect way or try to hide behind the piano, but in fact he's thinking, what can I do? Well, I'm not really using one hand, and so I'm going to use it to still be expressive and to reach at my face and explore this idea of crazy and insanity. And so how thrilling is that to see someone breaking those expectations and those norms? I think that's always exciting to see someone pushing the limits, and not just as a way to be interesting and new, but to communicate a song, a message, words, and music in a way that is more expressive, that communicates to an audience on a deeper level. I think he is really successful at that here. And it was really exciting to hear the wide variety of sounds he was making with his voice. It was very engaging. Vocal tip of the day. My guess is there are probably people out there expecting me to comment on his screaming, and if that's healthy or not. Are there healthy ways to scream and not? And I'm not going to be talking about that today. The short answer to that question is, are there healthier ways to scream? Yes. Are there unhealthier ways to scream? Yes. Is what he's doing here healthy or not? I think there are signs of both of good things, meaning what he's doing with his voice in terms of he's keeping a consistent airflow. Is he really screaming at 100% volume, or is he letting the mic do it? No, he's letting the mic do a lot of the work there, which is also a really good sign. I'm seeing some signs of stress and tension here in his neck and throat that make me a little concerned for him vocally. Is he doing it all the time or for long periods here in the song? No. So again, we've talked about in other videos about vocal capital, and this is a deliberate choice of his to spend some here on the screaming. Do I think he would be wise to do this for an entire song? No, but he's not doing it for an entire song. And it is really effective at getting the emotion and the intensity of the song across the audience. And it creates a really unique, different texture. Would I be more comfortable if I was working with him in the studio and really sure that what he was doing was being done in a healthy way? Yes, I would feel a lot more comfortable doing that. He's not my student, and he's famous, and he's doing his thing, and so he can do whatever he wants. If he's my student, he could do whatever he wants still, but we'd want to make sure that what he was doing was not causing him vocal harm or detrimental to his health for the long term. Sacrificing a lifelong singing career is not worth a moment of glory, in my opinion. The vocal technique tip that I am going to talk about today is that of exploring new colors, new styles, and new sounds without judging it in the moment. Or maybe better said, by judging it based on, is it new, is it unique, and is it comfortable here in my throat? If it's a new sound, even if you think it's ugly in your head, don't throw it out if it's comfortable here in your throat. In fact, it might even be the right direction that your voice needs to take. We don't usually hear in our head the accurate sound, meaning the sound that is in the room that the audience is going to hear. That sound is not accurate because we're hearing sounds coming from the inside of our head and that aren't bouncing around in the same way that they are for the audience. Why is it so important for you to explore new sounds, new styles, new forms of expression not based on if you think it's pretty or right or correct, but just exploring as many as possible. It's important because the more our voice has explored, the more it has developed a expression word bank, if you would, a toolbox that it can go to of different sounds and styles and colors and textures in that voice that it can use to be expressive, the more you're going to be comfortable to actually go there, to take your expression, your communication to a new level. So what can you do today? Just start playing. Start experimenting with your voice. Be silly, be ridiculous. Feel what it feels like to sound like a bird, to imitate someone else singing, to imitate strange noises in the world around you, and see if you can reproduce them. Let the judging meter be, if it's easy here, then it's something you want to keep in your toolbox. If it's not easy here, then can you make it easy here and still make that sound? If so, put it in your toolbox. If you're making that sound and you're really close, but there's no way to make it without feeling fatigued, tired, or uncomfortable here, then probably it's not something to put in your toolbox. What else can you do today to explore new sounds, new styles, new techniques? Well, break down your voice into different elements. Break it down into different shapes here in this resonant space behind the molars. See what happens if you make it more box-like, side to side, more oval-like, more diamond shape. What sounds does that make? What does that do? What happens if you bring that tongue way far back versus keeping it forward and passive? What happens when you release that jaw just a little bit versus a lot versus really overextend and have it really wide open? What happens when you bring those top teeth out versus when you mute it? What happens when you keep that larynx nice and low? Does that create a sound does that create a new sound? What happens when that larynx is high? What does that feel like? And what sounds does it make? When might you use those sounds? I think these are all important things to explore and play with so you can find a style and technique that works for you, that's expressive, and is unique to your own artistry. What's the performance tip I'm going to talk about today? Same thing that I was mentioning at the start, and that is to not hold yourself captive to what is expected, what is normal, what the audience wants from you. Instead, hold yourself accountable to what you can do, not what you should do, what you can do. What are the possibilities? To me, Hua Chenyu is an artist who is exploring the possibilities and not constrained by the expectations. He has one hand free, let's use it. He's behind a piano, what can I still do with my face, with my body, with my posture, with my arms, with my voice? What are all the possible things I can use to communicate and express what that song means to him, what the song could be, what he can do to take the audience to a new level of expression. What can you do today? What can you do today to apply this tip? One thing you can do today is to pay attention to what assumptions you're making. What do you think the audience wants? What do you think the right thing is to do? What do you think you should do? And then do something different. Do something other than that. Give yourself permission to do it wrong, to take it in a direction that is slightly uncomfortable to you, not necessarily vocally or health or safety wise, but mentally and emotionally. Challenge the assumptions that you have or that others have placed in front of you. Also, go through and just really let yourself imagine what this performance could be. Brainstorm. Go too far. Do too much. See what happens if you really let your imagination go wild. Do it by yourself so that you aren't worried about what others are think, and really see what you can do. Then video it and go back and watch it yourself. I think what you'll find is often when we think it's too much, it's just barely getting to be enough. Here, he's obviously not concerned with it being too much. I'm going to throw in a second performance tip here because it's short, and I think he does an amazing job here with it. You'll notice that the audience starts applauding when it hasn't finished yet, but quickly stop and then are really riveted to what he's doing. How do they know it's not over? How can you as a performer make sure that the audience knows the right time to applaud and that it's not over yet? Well, the two top ways to tell an audience that your song is over is to freeze for a few beats. If you freeze for a few beats and then break character and go back to the performer you, not the character you were when you were singing and performing, but the performer you, the you that walked out on stage, not in character and in that song yet, the confident version of you that's out there and embracing the audience in a welcoming way. Well, it's that person that if they come out, the audience knows it's over. And if you freeze, the audience knows that it's probably over. Here, he kept going. Even if it's just a little bit, he kept the emotion going. He didn't drop character even though they started applauding. So they knew that it wasn't over yet and they needed to keep watching and listening. Is this an error on his part because the audience started applauding? No, I don't think it was at all. I think he did an amazing job at carrying the silence. The audience just wasn't expecting it. It was unexpected and unusual for the sound to stop, but the performance not to be over. He let the applaud clear like a very experienced performer and continued on with his performance without freezing and without breaking character. So wonderful to see there and to see the expertise that he showed. If you want a voice lesson, a performance coaching, or want me to work with you or your group to help you sing easier or perform at a consistently higher level, book a time with me at mrperformingartstudio.com. I look forward to working with you online.